In these problems, we're being asked to simplify some radical expressions. And the nice part about these is we've got inside the radical sign, we've got some variables with exponents, but they're all even exponents. And you probably already know that if you had, let's say, x squared, and you took the square root of that, that would just be x. And maybe you know that because you know that the square root undoes squaring. They're sort of inverses of each other. But you can also think of it like this. When you take an exponent to another exponent, a power to a power, it's like you multiply the exponents. So if we had x squared to the second power, it would be 2 times 2. That would be x to the fourth power. You're really doing the same thing when you take the square root of something. The square root is really the one half power. So the square root of x squared is really the square root of x to the 1/2 power. And you multiply the 2 times the 1/2, and you get the first power, or just plain old x. So when we see something like this, we have v to the sixth underneath the square root symbol, we can just multiply by 1/2, divide by 2, it's the same thing. So v to the sixth, if you take the square root of that, you're going to get v to the third. So that's this part of it. Let's deal with the 8 now. And what we want to do with numbers under the radical signs is to factor them. So I know that 8 is 4 times 2. So I can take the square root of the 4, so that would come out here and be a 2. So this would be 2 times the square root of 2. So altogether, I'd have my 2, I'd have the v cubed, and then I'd have what's left over, the square root of 2. So that is the square root of 8 v to the sixth. Let's try that again with this one over here, slightly more complicated. Let's do the number part first this time, the square root of 48. So what is that? Well, 48 is, 3 times 16. So we could take the square root of the 16 part, and that would make it a 4 out here. So this would be 4 times the square root of 3. So that part is easy enough. And then we have this v to the 10th. The square root of v to the 10th, we're just going to divide that power by 2, and we've got v to the 5th. So we're going to have the 4, which was outside here, the v to the 5th outside the radical sign, and what's left inside is just 3. So that is a little bit of work simplifying some radical expressions.